Today's podcast is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, well, let me explain. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. It has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many other platforms. You don't even have to think about it. You just load up your podcast, you drop it in, you tweak it, you add ads. You can make money from your podcast. There's no minimum listenership either. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Club Cool puts the podcast out on Anchor. So do all the other Wash Media podcasts. And we've done this from other platforms. Nothing is as seamless or pretty or easy or just, perfect for putting out a podcast. So check out Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey, welcome back, everybody, for another edition of the Club Cool podcast. I am your host, Barrett Dudley, and I'm here in the Washed Media Studios on a Wednesday at the regularly scheduled programmed time, joined to my right by Mr. Phil Battaglia. Phil, what's going on, man?
Hello.
Did you get a haircut? Did you trim it? Did you trim that thing up?
Mm-hmm.
Got it edged up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very necessary. It was way too long.
How is that experience for you? Are you back to wearing a mask while getting the cleanup?
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Hair in the mask. They can. I mean, it's very hard to get the ears correctly.
Yeah. You do they make you undo the thing and then hold it on your face and it's we're I guess first world problems over here. But first world in a pandemic problems, it's not great. I think I've talked about this before, but I just don't like getting my hair cut while not being able to see the entirety of my face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
like to breathe when they put the hot towel on your face and you're just about suffocating.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is Picasso didn't just take a mask and put it right in the center of his of his painting while he was working on it.
Yeah.
That would be
sure.
That would make it difficult to see the work as a whole, to get, to have all the information, have all the pieces of the puzzle as he adds color and perfects this his masterpiece.
Your stylist is Picasso and you are the
and
subject.
I'm the canvas. Yeah, exactly. We had the little 6-week honeymoon period. I got one haircut with no mask. Glorious. Just absolutely glorious to be in there. That's when we thought that everything was, fully on the up and up.
It's when you thought people would actually go get the vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been back. My place, they put the masks, the masks, the mask request back in. No, it's, and don't get me wrong. I am not boycotting them because they are requiring masks. I understand the requirement for the masks. I'm I can wait a little bit longer. Let me just, So I'm close, by the way. I'm close to being because I need one, but it's just
The mask is not mandatory at my joint, but I'm in that space now to where when I go to the store and when I go to get my haircut, I'll do it.
No, same. That's what I'm saying. I understand that it's probably best practice right now to have to have it on. But
I don't make anybody feel uncomfortable.
I feel like, I'm paying attention to Austin Public Health. Best way to do it is on Twitter. Feels like the case is we're tapering off again. So I'm feeling positive, unless of course all the football games and Labor Day parties and all that just,
Did you go to that game?
Kicks us in the nuts again. No, I did not. But we are going to talk some tailgate fits today. Tailgate fits and tailgate kits.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I feel that gets requested every season. Maybe we've talked about it every season. I'm not. Who can say? We definitely didn't last year.
Hell no.
So we're going to revisit it. Maybe it's been 2 years, but I gotta get your takes, and I'll give some takes. No, I did not go to the game this past weekend. Everybody keeps asking me that like it's normal to go to a game that starts at 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon when it's 103 degrees outside and like 112 heat index.
Yeah.
I don't. My parents went. They went. They seemed to have no issue. They said that our seats got shade quickly and that it felt okay. But
suck it up.
I've spent enough time outside to know that I think I would have been uncomfortable. But
yeah,
I'm gonna give it a go.
Especially in your tight stranglers and boots that you like to wear.
No,
I cannot tucked in.
I cannot believe that we did that as young bucks for these September games. Absolute insanity.
Y'all did that either.
The only way that is even possibly tolerable is you just don't even know what your name is because you've had like a fifth of bourbon. But no, speaking of sports, I guess what I'm embarking on this week, starting tomorrow evening. I'm doing a little
Cowboys.
I'm doing a little indoor soccer.
Oh God, that's a bad idea, Barrett. You're playing indoor soccer?
I'm playing indoor soccer.
Woo!
I
cannot wait to hear about this.
I used to be quite the indoor football stud when I was in my early teens.
Yes.
Yeah.
In your early teens.
That's right.
Correct.
I was no good on the pitch, but indoor, you put me in a box like that. That's where I thrive. I'm just, get down and dirty, short sprints, control of the field.
Yeah.
It's just too much space on a regular soccer field for me.
Sure.
I thrive, in the grime.
When you're against the wall.
When I'm against the wall.
Getting slammed against the wall. Checked. Can you check?
Yeah, probably not in this league. You can't like hockey check an indoor.
I don't know, dude. I've been to an indoor game when my friends, back when I was living in Beaumont, they had just moved to Houston. So we were still young bucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even at that moment, I was like, woo, this is too much. Because they got like really into it. And you have to sub yourself in and out. Right. And some guys don't want to come out, which fine, but
I mean, hey, if you have the lungs to not come out, then by all means, like that's what I'm most concerned about. When you get, no matter when you're in your 30s but if you're not like actually doing serious performance athletics or playing in a real sport, like, perennially, like that's the part that you lose. Like you can run all the miles that you want, but unless you are like running wind sprints and doing horses and like training like that, that's the piece that you lose. And I like the last time that I did something like this, I'm going to have to stretch, by the way, tomorrow. I'm really going to have to stretch, but
man, I hope you do well. And
I hope I do not injure myself.
All of your ligaments remain intact.
Yes. Same.
Because I would hate to lose you to a torn ACL because of some stupid ass indoor soccer game.
I'm going to get a lot of stretching in. I'm going to stay, I stay hydrated. Your boy stays very hydrated. But yeah, the last time that I did something like this was 3 or 4 years ago now. And I went back, it was over the winter break, and I ran in a little alumni lacrosse game back in my old high school.
Ooh.
And I still, obviously I still had the moves, but what I did not have is the ability to run up and down a lacrosse field more than twice in a row.
Yeah.
So it's that aerobic capacity that I'm sure will be, and I have not, I mentioned just jogging some miles. I haven't even jogged some miles in like a year.
Barrett, you need to get out there
before
you get into that indoor pitch. Do some horses, like you mentioned.
I'm just going to rely on my natural, God-given athletic ability.
Hey, yeah.
I mean, you guys saw me surfing.
That's true. You were getting pitted. That was nice.
Are you watching 100-Foot Wave?
Yeah, we've seen the first episode.
Oh, that's some good shit right there.
It is.
It's really, really good. One thing I did want to mention, though, here's where indoor ties into this podcast. I don't miss an opportunity to go add a new pair of sports cleats to my collection.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What are you gonna go with?
Well, at home first. I have metal baseball cleats.
You should wear those
from my softball days. I've got lacrosse/football cleats from my from needing to run up and down the field in alumni games over the last decade, and I've got a pair of Kobe 3s that I bought my senior year of college when we were playing a lot of basketball at the fraternity house every day. So, I always, with the one I don't have, I was very close though, and I will eventually add these to the collection once I get back on the tennis courts. I don't have a real pair of tennis shoes.
Neither do I, and I'm back on the courts.
But you need to
get them.
I mean, the tennis shoes that are out there look dope too.
Yeah, you need to share those with me because I have had trouble.
I'll show you some.
Send them.
Well, so I've been looking at Nike. You know I'm a Nike guy.
Yeah.
The shorts that we're orange and black. We're the Howler team.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the league is put on by Austin FC. It's like kind of sponsored by them, and so there's like Yeti has a team. I think maybe a couple alcohol of the local alcohol companies have a team.
That'll be great.
But yeah, should be a time. Should be a good time.
Networking possibilities too.
Well, you got to network to get work.
That's a fact.
that's the thing.
You mind if I come to a few games and hand out some cards?
Please do. I mean, they are encouraging, spectators and come have yourself.
Let me sponsor.
Come have yourself a beer. Huh?
Let me sponsor a game.
Phil Battaglia Real Estate.
Yeah, I'll give y'all like some oranges and some Capri Suns at the end of the game.
Okay, and we'll get your logo on the back of
Correct.
our shirts.
It'll actually be my headshot.
Yeah, that's that is the logo. That's the brand right there. So I'm gonna make my way down to the soccer corner, little soccer shop that we have here on 35. I'm gonna see what they have today, probably today, maybe tomorrow, and I'd love to get into some Adidas Sambas or something kind of old school like that. But as aforementioned, I'm a Nike guy.
Yeah,
I got Nike socks. I got Nike shorts. That I cannot. We all know that you can't mix brands like that. So I'm obviously leaning Nike, but I'm hoping to be surprised by like an old favorite, like maybe like some Kappas or some Diodoras.
Yeah.
That would really float my boat to get out there in a real Euro brand.
I predict a headband.
3 goals.
No, I predict you
2
have
assists.
a headband.
Yeah, that's what I'm predicting too.
Wait, but do you need any sort of cleat?
Well, for an indoor court, you're looking for like a turf shoe. You can play in cleats, but I don't want to play in cleats. I want just like a grippy turf indoor shoe.
Okay.
With a little, you want a little grip, little pull on the toe is right? Because I'm out there bending it like Beckham.
Yeah.
Just putting it top corner.
So is Howler producing the uniforms?
Unlucky. Useful.
Is Howler producing the uniforms, or are y'all just like...
The league is providing the uniforms, but it'll...
FC.
Yeah, or the league, Liga Verde is what it's called.
Man, you're going to get so nervous because I bet you some of those FC players have to come out and support.
Yeah,
you're gonna
maybe.
see them up there.
Well, guess who we have to play week 1 tomorrow. They're called La Murga, and they are like the group of people in the supporters section at the games that play band instruments. So like, yeah, we're screwed tomorrow.
They're living for that game.
Yeah, and we didn't even get a practice in. So
also, I guarantee they bring their own support section, which will be hilarious.
You think the support section has their own support section?
100%.
Well, we'll see. I will report back on what the scene looks like tomorrow, and then we'll get you out there. That is, here's the one downside. Nobody cares about this part, but it's a far drive. It's Cedar Park basically. So that would be really unfortunate to injure myself and then not be able to make the 25-minute trip. Anyways, all right. Let's move on to our other sport that we're talking about today. We're talking football, American football. This time, talk some tailgate kits. Man, there's never like, this is not something that changes from season to season a whole lot. But I'll pull out some strings here that I've noticed that I'm thinking about for myself, and then I want to get your take as well because I went to a big state school, University of Texas. The games are obviously a giant deal. We live in the city where they play. So I've got one experience. You've got
quite the different experience.
A different experience. And so I want your take as well, because I know I'm sure we have quite a few listeners that, maybe you're finding yourself going to a college football game for a school that you did not attend, or you're going with a significant other or friends to to a big game down the road a little ways. And so I want your take on how you approach like going to a Texas game when you didn't go to Texas, and then simultaneously how you would tackle going back to your alma mater, which is building up its program, for maybe an electric game between Texas State and say Baylor, like this past weekend. So I'll start with this. Here's what I've had my eye on for this season. I've noticed a couple of, just in my regular browsing and my regular shopping, I've pulled up like some cool looking camp collar shirts that happen to have like school colors in them. Mm-hmm. And I thought that would be great, mm-hmm. right? Like that they are maybe not great for like our 100-degree games like this past weekend and what I'm sure will be next weekend's temperature for the game as well. But like especially as you get into September, October, and you have a little bit more temperate weather, a nice looking shirt like that, and then you pull on one of your actual logo hats or whatever else that you might have. But I love the idea of being able to work in like a comfortable kind of on trend shirt.
Yeah.
To the fit as well. Mm-hmm. So that just requires shopping around and finding something that works for your mm-hmm. for your team's colors. But it just kind of happens that like the orangey browns and kind of burnt siennas and oranges and fall, kind of earthy colors like that are pretty popular at the moment and for this fall. And so there's some stuff out there. I've been looking at one from Gitman Vintage, and then like a dip dye hand dyed one that has like a little like shibori tie dye and kind of a burnt orange brown from Story Manufacturing that I think would be super dope. I think I missed it on sale though already. It was a great price. I should have just pulled trig. Here's what's nice about this. A long time ago, I would look for like vintage kind of actual Aloha shirts. Mm-hmm. And I found one at one point that was, I think it was actually from Rain Spooner, but the cut was obviously from the late 90s or early 2000s. So that thing fell well below my elbows. Yeah. And eventually I just had to move on. The collar was too weird. The fit was too weird. Mm-hmm. So finding vintage cam collars, vintage Aloha shirts like that, your mileage may vary because the fit can be pretty wonky. And then as far as shorts, I mean, same thing that I've been saying about shorts for the majority of this year, right? Like, go e-waist, man. That's more comfortable than a fixed waist chino either. Get a little stretch in there, maybe a little bit, something more breathable. There's all sorts of options out there. I'm wearing like the Nike shorts that I've got on today. Like if you're going for a more sporty look, these would be perfect. And then I finally, after talking about them ad nauseum for the last 6 months, I finally bought some of the Gap e-waist shorts yesterday.
You like?
Over the Labor Day sale. I don't have them yet, but they're certainly like on my radar as ones that I would wear to a football game.
Yeah.
Just a little bit baggier than some of the stuff I've worn in the past, a little bit shorter, which is nice, and then the comfort of the e-waist. So I expect a lot of dudes are out there wearing that. And then the piece of the puzzle that's always hardest for me, and I do this every year, I never know what shoes to wear for game day. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always back to the drawing board. Like, I don't know why I can never figure this out. Last year, I found a pair of Nike Tailwind 4s, so kind of one of their, not the 79s that are like the real vintage retro silhouette, but like, kind of an Air Max bubbled, got some tan, some oranges on it. They something weird about the toe box. They weren't that comfortable. So I think I got to go back to the drawing board again. I've done like Converse and Vans in the past, but the truth is I don't think those shoes are comfortable enough.
Yeah.
For all day treks like football games tend to be.
Vans can be.
You think Vans can be?
The ones I have on right now.
You're wearing just like old schools right now, right?
No.
No? What do you got?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, just like the classic, either the Authentics or the
got
Eras.
That
Comfy Cush?
Comfy Cush.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I think it's toe box for me. That's always the problem that I have with shoes. So if the toe box works in something like a Vans, then that works. But like Converse especially like end up rubbing on the outer edge of my toe box, I feel like. So I always gravitate towards something like Nike. But yeah, so I don't have a pair. I mentioned maybe the Tailwind 79s that I have that are that more retro vintage runner silhouette. I think that would probably go with everything. I don't know. When you get invited to a Texas football game, what are you doing?
It's tough because I've never been a game day shirt guy.
Yeah, right.
Polo,
right.
Because they don't fit me, first of all. And I really hate like wearing the same thing as like 300 to 500 other dudes that are in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
But I would wear this, dude, like a t-shirt, like a neutral color t-shirt. I don't own any burnt orange. If I found something that was a burnt orange shirt or resembled that, I would wear it.
Yeah.
It was nice,
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be comfortable. Definitely not pants for these summer games. And then the shoes are tough, aren't they? Because then it's about like
every year I deal with this.
Yeah.
Because you need a great combination of things. They got to be comfortable for all day.
Right.
You're doing a lot of walking. You're sweating. And then you also got to you don't want something nice because you're gonna spill shit on them.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in the stands.
Right.
People are gonna be dumping their nacho cheese on top of you.
Yeah.
And again, this is an all day thing. They're gonna get a lot of wear. So you know.
It's the same fit that you would wear to ACL. I mean, shoe-wise, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you need, for me, I need even more comfort than I do for ACL.
Yeah. Because you're standing more on concrete?
It's just, it's hotter. You're standing more. The walks just, I don't know, they feel longer. Like, I don't know. You
need to bring back those square toe boots.
Yeah, like an Ariat.
Yeah.
I mean, those are built for comfort.
How do they do it? I don't understand.
What about going back to T-State? How are you fitting in some?
We were going to go to that.
How are you fitting in some logos there?
We were going to go to that Baylor T-State game. Thankfully, we didn't.
Why?
Did you see any shots of the stands there?
I did not.
Texas State is famous for showing up for the first half and then bouncing.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Okay. Where it was empty by the second half?
Almost.
Yeah.
But you know what? They did pretty well. I mean, I think they put 20 points up.
Okay.
That's good.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere, you know? Building a program is it's a slow grind.
Well, anyway, I don't know, man.
Do you have any Texas State gear? You got any tees, any hats, like anything?
Used to.
Yeah.
Gone.
Just
had to make room.
Yeah,
when am I going to wear that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Yeah.
Not a lot of
school pride.
No, I've got plenty of pride in Texas State. It's just not a lot of sporting events that you go to. Honestly.
Yeah. Right.
Luckily, while we were there, we had a good football team, and we did go to a good bit of the games, and they were good.
Okay.
But
that was before they were in the Division I FBS, right? Weren't y'all playing? I think Texas State. Yeah, I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, this was. But
you were in FCS, I think.
Yeah, and there was always a tournament.
Yeah. Okay.
Like there was always we got to the semifinals, I believe, one year. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, like I've got my Texas hat on today. I'm representing. I'm feeling good after our win against the Raging Cajuns. You know, I'm getting out the polo. I do actually. Nike does the cuts of the polos have gotten better. I've got a Texas Nike polo that fits me really well that I like and have worn to games for sure. You know, that is you guys know I'm no fan of like a dry fit polo as like a fashion look, but it works for game day because it is breathable and it does give you the right look and all that. So I'm still here for that as well, as long as it's not like I mentioned, you know, your Cutter and Buck style past the elbows fit there. But yeah, man, I'm busting all that stuff out. I'm like, yes, I feel so good. Can't wait to get back. Like, yes, Coach Stark, he's really out there doing it. And then we're gonna like blow a game to Kansas State where we're favored by 27, and all of this stuff will go back into the closet and back into the bins. I'm like, I'm not wearing this. This is embarrassing.
Yeah, you gotta burn.
This has been a decade of this shit. Like I'm like, why do I do this to myself every year? But here I am, wearing the stuff and Trying to figure it all out. I saw some highlights from the Clemson game. Mm-hmm. They were playing Georgia.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Duke's mayonnaise was a sponsor or something.
Yeah,
there was like there were some dudes eating just like giant jugs of Duke's mayonnaise in the stands, which God bless them. I mean, they're probably still sick today from that. I have to think. Anyway, one of the Clemson dudes in that video has on a Clemson tee and a Clemson hat, both of which I really, really like. They look new, but they've got like the old school kind of like circular university style lockup graphic. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the seal of a school.
Yeah.
And his hat was like a really kind of, you know, the fit could have come from IME or the Hundreds or something like that. It was like it wasn't like a snapback, but almost more like a cool like 5-panel sort of mid crown fit. It both looked good. It had me like on Etsy and on the University Co-op, kind of like looking for similar stuff for Texas because I thought that they were cool. But man, this is another great place, by the way, for the tailgate guys to jump into the Discord. You get access by joining us on Patreon, patreon.com/clubcool. You can join for as little as $2 a month, and you get a discount for paying for your whole year up front. I think it comes to $20 for the whole year. And man, we've got a guy that he's got a little brand. He does some cool state school hats, I want to say. He always posts great tailgate kits. If you live in Florida, like some of these schools like Florida State, they get a little bit more trendy with their looks, you know, a little bit, they kind of skew a little bit more streetwear, whereas if you're at Texas, it's all a little bit more trad. But you know, some dudes were sharing their game day kit picks. I think Florida State represented, Oregon represented, red and white. What's my guys? Wisconsin, I think. Anyway, jump in there, man. It's a great place to see what the boys are wearing,
and the girls,
if they want to if they want to show, if they want to. Let's see it, because the girls, that's who really gets into the to the fashion of the game day.
Sure.
So, all good stuff, man. We will. I'll let you know what I figure out for shoes this year. But
did you see that video of Virginia Tech going nuts with that Inner Sandman, the Metallica song?
I did not.
It's wild.
Is it as good as the eating mayonnaise video?
Yes.
Okay.
Just as good.
Phil, I've got some listener questions to bring up, or some listener prompts. All these are thanks to our lovely listeners and Instagram followers. Instagram @ClubCoolPod. This is the week. This is the week that we reboot and we and we start posting. Here's why. I'm appearing on the Sunday Scaries podcast this week. That show is much larger than this one.
No.
So when people hear about the show and they come over to the Instagram, it can't be blank. Can't be a blank canvas like it is right now, unless I'm just going for like the Kanye, this is a performance art piece thing. But no, I want to have a little something up there for the for any potential new listeners, P&Ls as we like to call them, when we're having our strategery meetings. I'll have something up there. I'm very close. I'm very close. Anyways, we do a little Q&A on there. Listeners, viewers get to submit some prompts and some questions. Had some questions about socks, so that's where we're going to start. This is just thrilling talk about. The prompt was talk about socks, millennial no-shows versus TikTok tubes. And I'm adding in a third one there. There's millennial no-shows versus TikTok tubes versus Club Cool quarters.
Now you're talking. Now, okay.
Because I know you and I are both big fans of the
elusive quarters.
Of the elusive quarter sock.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm seeing it. I have posted some kit pics of my own at Club Cool Pod on Instagram when we do some story drops. And I love the Nike quarter socks, the white ones, the white Nike quarter socks. And people have asked me about those. Like, oh, what are those? I feel like people don't know, or they're scared of the quarter because it always felt like the weird in between. It's perfect for me because I understand that we've kind of moved on from the no shows, but sometimes the tubes look a little too
tubular,
like a little too tubular, a little too preppy, or a little too like you're a TikToker in high school. Now I have on tubes today.
I'm doing no show.
With a little push down. But again, when the tubes really work when you don't lean too hard into the tubes with Jordans, tubes with the Blazers. That works. Then sometimes I throw on tubes with some New Balances, and I'm like,
yeah,
am I going undercover at Westlake? What's happening here?
You should do that for a second.
Never been kissed style.
Yeah,
Julia Gulia. Just embed myself. I've decided that I would like to. You know how investigative journalists and reporters they'll embed themselves in something to get the story, whether it's
undercover
overseas and in a war zone, or they embed themselves with a biker gang to do the work and get the scoop.
Yeah.
I've decided that this is the way I would like to go to bars from here on out.
Uh-huh.
I would like to embed myself with Randy and his group of friends.
They don't want you.
And I'm an observer. I'm an observer / participant. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, because you go out to, if I go out to Kung Fu Saloon with a bunch of people that I'm friends with, this is no fun.
No.
Yeah,
it's no good.
We're not partaking in the fun part of the evening.
Yeah.
There's no chance that we'll meet somebody or
you're not ringing the gong
or interact with our hinge date or have something crazy happen or take too many shots. But I want to be around people that this is happening for, so that I can live vicariously through them, but not through Instagram stories. I want to be there in person, and I'll rip a shot or two. I'm gonna have some Miller Lights, but I want to casually enjoy what's happening by embedding myself into a group that is actually doing all the things.
Randy,
what do you think of this?
What does Randy think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? He's indifferent.
Randy's who's this old dude?
Yeah,
hanging out with us.
He's got tube socks on. Let him in.
Yeah, that'll be part of the embedding. Is I'll have on.
Here's what'll happen.
TikTok tubes.
You'll end up taking so many shots. And getting totally blackout. You'll forget everything that happened, everything you saw.
And I won't be able to report on it?
And
I won't be able to get the scoop?
Shit. You'll be hungover for 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you should do it.
Yeah. Look, at my age, just about anything gives me a hangover.
Yeah.
3 beers will definitely have me feeling a little rocky in the morning. But after my live draft weekend, which was my first, multi-day hangover in quite some time.
Yeah.
Well, the surefire way to just eliminate the productivity and enjoyment of your week is by mixing everything.
Yes.
If you have glasses of wine at dinner, but you did beers beforehand, hanging out at the bar, and then you have an espresso martini, and then somebody brings you a shot, and then you switch to white wine because the whole and let me try that craft bourbon cocktail that looks so good on the menu. That's the real.
Yeah.
That's the killer.
Yeah. And those weekends, everybody brings great stuff in.
Yeah.
And you want to try this.
What's that? Yes.
Yeah. You got to have some restraint.
The key is to just sticking to 1 or 2 things max. Yeah. And at least that's a hangover that you can generally recover from with a little bit of food and coffee and a couple Advil. But yeah, I'm excited about this embedding in idea. I'm looking for opportunities to try this out. So anybody, let me know.
Yeah, any groups looking for another participant.
I still go no shows sometimes. Definitely, you have on no shows with Vans right now. That's I'll do my Stance Gamut socks for Vans. But that's the kind of key. That's the look that I think is, and we've talked about this a little bit before, I think, but it's just the very low no shows that sort of poke up out of your sneakers. That's the look that feels a little dated right now, I think. So you either don't want to see them or you want to go quarter or tube.
I don't want to see a half-inch.
But half-inch gets awkward. And don't get me wrong, I still do it sometimes. I got a drawer full of these things.
Yeah.
So as long as I just try to have it like almost no show.
Yeah.
Or it's, the quarters is that makes me feel best right now. And I shouted out the Nikes. I also want to shout out the Outdoor Voices quarter socks. They come in a 3-pack of white with like some different color text on the back, which is like a kind of cool little fun detail. And they also have a neutrals pack right now that I have my eye on. It's like you get like a gray, a khaki, and like a blush pink.
Nice.
Those are pretty sweet.
I like my women's Madewell quarter socks.
Women's Madewell quarter socks.
They're tie-dye.
They're not a sponsor at the moment, but I will vouch for my Bombas quarter socks as well. You can probably still use our code. Go use our code.
Fuck it.
Get them back in the mix, man.
Yeah.
Show them we're still out here riding around and getting it. So yeah. Club Cool quarters, baby.
I love a quarter. They're hard to find though. That's the problem.
The easiest way to do it is the Nikes. They've got the quarter crews 6-pack. Get the white or the black if you're feeling it, and it'll be good. Okay, another thing that I've got here. What else we got?
Also, real quick.
Yeah. Throw it in, drop it in.
GQ he wrote something about how he buys Gildan quarters, I believe, and then tie dyes them himself.
Okay.
But I've never been able to find like Gildan online. I'm just afraid I'm going to get like 20 pairs of terrible socks.
Does Gildan make socks?
Yes.
The same. We're talking the same like Gildan that does the the t-shirts or whatever.
I've found them before on Amazon or something, but they come in like these huge packs. I'm not confident enough to buy them just because I don't want that many socks, first of all. But you could do the same with Nikes. Any white, if it's solid white.
There's plenty of, the Nikes are a good deal, but there are plenty of other options out there that are even more economical. Like the Nordstrom, the ones I'm wearing today, the tubes that I've got on are just the Nordstrom like house brand or whatever. And I think you get like a 3-pack for $12 of those.
Yeah.
And they're not the best socks in the world, but they're pretty good. They hold up decently. And I'm sure that they'd take a dye.
They'd take they can hold up to those big monster calves you got.
Well,
This guy's got some calves, Randy.
It's just all those calf raises that I do.
You do, right?
Yeah.
All that indoor soccer.
They're gonna be they're gonna be ripping tomorrow. Just out there kicking. All right, let's take a quick break here from today's sponsor. Today's podcast is brought to you by Feels CBD. Feels is premium CBD that will help to keep your head clear and feel your best. It's hassle-free. It's delivered directly to your door. If you're not familiar with CBD, well, it naturally helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. There's no hangover. There's no addiction. Look, I've talked about this with many people, but I think the last 18 months, 2 years has caused us all to maybe feel a little bit of anxiety that was either lying beneath the surface or we just didn't quite realize what it was pre-pandemic. That has certainly reared its head for me. And Feel CBD, I've never needed to try another brand or anything else because this stuff is really effective. You just place a few drops of Feels under your tongue. You hold it there for about 30 seconds and then you swallow. You will feel the difference within minutes. And the thing to remember about CBD is that finding your right dose is important. Mm-hmm. So I've started with a flight before to try out, different milligram dosages to kind of figure that out and nail it and get what works for me. Everyone's dose is different. So Feels offers a free CBD hotline to help guide your personal experience so that you can find your perfect dose. The Feels customer service team is dedicated to making sure you get the best use of your CBD. Joining the Feels monthly membership makes your self-care easy. You'll save money on every order, and you can pause or cancel anytime. Don't find your stuff without this stuff because you forgot to order, or you pushed it off. Just get on that monthly membership. Make it easy. You deserve to start feeling better with Feels, so become a member today by going to feels.com/clubcool, and you will get 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's FEALS.com/clubcool to become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. The stuff, the Feels, man, it works whether you're just little nervous about a doctor's appointment or a looming work deadline, or you're just having a little bit of insomnia because of everything that's going on, changes in your personal life, whatever it might be, check out Feels CBD. Get that stuff delivered right to your door. Start feeling better. Feels.com/clubcool. 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. All right. Back to the board. Let's talk about some trend longevity. I got some questions about some various trends out there. So we'll talk about a few of those if I can find my my doc. Here we go. All right. I'm gonna get your pick on where to start here. You want to start vintage workwear trend, vintage tees, or no? It's just those
vintage
two.
tees for 200.
I thought I had one more in here, but looks like I only jotted down 2. So we'll start vintage tees.
Okay.
You can start. You picked. What do you think? Do you think of vintage tees as a trend?
No.
Yeah. That's
I've been on this wave for since
this is
2002.
this is why I wanted you to start, because as long as we've hung out, as long as I've known you, you've always had a great collection of vintage tees.
I have so many tees.
Trends have ebbed and flowed, come and gone. You're still rolling with vintage tees that always look great and score compliments every time you got them on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I love them. I just like t-shirts in general. Like, this is not a vintage tee, but I'm just not. I've tried. You know, there was a phase where, you know, you wear a lot of polos, but I always come back to the tee.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in a more professional setting, I'm obviously not showing up in a t-shirt, but I just always feel like it's a safe bet regardless, especially in a town like Austin where it's so casual.
Somebody was saying that this fall you're going to bring back the vintage band tee under a tailored sport coat look.
No, I won't do that.
That's what they were saying.
No.
You're not. That's not true.
That screams like old record producer guy that drives like an old like Lamborghini or something.
Yeah.
Or a new Lamborghini.
Maybe a Shelby Mustang or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite vintage tee? Do you have one in your mind that you can think of that's like your ultimate favorite?
Man.
Prized possession, golden boy, if you will.
You know, I have a couple.
Yeah.
And they're both band tees.
Yeah.
And they're both black.
Okay.
There's a Black Crows that one of my best friends gave me when we were like sophomores.
It's a Crows t-shirt or a Black Crows t-shirt?
A Black Crows
It's
t-shirt.
a Black Crows t-shirt.
Yes.
Okay.
Not from The Crow, the movie. And that one is really, really great. I love it. And
did you buy that one at a Black Crows concert, or it is a vintage tee? You bought it vintage.
He found it as a gift to me at a vintage store in San Marcos.
Nice. Okay.
The second one I found here in Austin at a vintage store, Social Distortion, another band, and it's black. It's got both of these have front graphics, and it's not too much, I don't think. And they both have the fabric is the thicker vintage tee fabric, not the falling apart in your hands.
Yes, yeah.
Which I have some of those, but they've been pushed to the drawer that I only wear around the house.
Yeah, I think that's really the thing. These vintage tees, and I think when we talk about vintage tees, we're mostly thinking about like vintage band tees, but also just vintage graphic tees.
Right.
Is generally kind of what we're thinking about. And you're right. There are definitely kind of like different styles of them. The one that is more popular right now is like the heavier cotton, a little bit boxier of a fit. Mm-hmm. There are other eras of tees have been where they are that more like that almost like burnout material where they're just, like you said, they're almost like falling apart in your hand and they're so super duper soft and they're a little bit, you know, almost like cap sleeved or slim fitting. And both of those have been kind of had their moment over the last 15 to 20 years. The thing about it is like while the preference there might change, what I was thinking about in regards to this question, I've never walked into a vintage store over the last 20 years whether it's Buffalo Exchange or something a little trendier like Feathers on South Congress or the one that we like, Full Circle over by campus here. No matter what year, no matter what month you walk into those stores, what are they going to have hanging behind the counter or like up in the rafters on a little thing like near the ceiling? Mm-hmm. They're going to have their best vintage band tees up there.
Yeah.
Always. This is a guarantee.
Yeah.
And like, depending on where you are, the price of those is going to reflect that the vintage store thinks of those very highly, mm-hmm. right? Like maybe you're lucky and those tees are $30 to $50 instead of the $15 ones that are hanging on the rack. But if you're unlucky and if it's a super trendy vintage store, those can be $150 or $250 or $350 depending on the band and condition. But yeah, man, like this is, I've been interested in this so long that last time we were at a Church's concert together, like I bought 2 t-shirts.
Yeah.
And because I like to have my own kind of collection here that I am slowly aging into a vintage tee collection.
The seller.
I also have some favorites that are mm-hmm. actual vintage tees. I've got one I've definitely worn on the show before is like a vintage Harley Davidson one from Full Circle that mm-hmm. like is very like, I think people have asked, is that a Rude tee? Right? Because that's clearly like where that's so inspired from. So yeah, I don't think it's the preference for the material and the cut can maybe waver, but I don't think they necessarily ever out of style. Like you mentioned, I have some that are of that fit me slimmer.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it's because I got a little fatter though.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. But they do. This is. It's always like I always am at vintage shopping and I pull out like a large. Right?
Yeah,
of a tee.
The sizing's all fucked.
And you're like, what? This large fits.
Yeah.
So it's also not surprising that some of these mediums that I have and have been washed a dozen times mm-hmm. or more now, like aren't really fitting me that well anymore.
Yeah. I have like an extra large vintage tee that fits me perfectly.
Fits you I
just feel like either it was labeled wrong or it's been washed.
These things just get washed and dried so many times that they all So, I mean, it's I'm not really like looking to. I think that in general the vintage band tee is a constant, kind of throughout. And another thing that I thought about is like, I think the most I've ever spent on a t-shirt, and it's probably still like, it's not the trendiest fit at the moment, but it's probably still like one of my most prized, fashion pieces, is from Fall Winter 14. It's a Balenciaga t-shirt, and here I'll pull it up for you. Do you remember the Join a Weird Trip graphics?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember the shirt you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's 7 years old that we're talking, right? And they were still referencing, even 7 years ago, like they're referencing mm-hmm. this kind of old, Iron Maiden, heavy metal, Harley Davidson, like biker style graphic. Mm-hmm. And now they turned it into this kind of Egypto-funk look, but the inspiration is pretty clearly from that Iron Maiden style typeface and all that type of stuff. And now these days we've got Rude and Amiri and some other brands that are less, not quite as high end, like 6 Week Residency and Represent and Xanarobe, that are all still doing these kind of like metal vintage logos and graphics. And so yeah, while that kind of like washed out black boxy tee with a graphic, like, is that going to be the most in style thing for forever? Probably not. But like the inspiration for those tees and like where those come from and that'll always kind of be around, and therefore I think they don't necessarily need to disappear from your closet.
Right.
Really.
No.
The way some other stuff might, especially if it's actually a vintage tee.
Right. And another thing with these is they take up no room in the closet.
Yeah.
Mine are all folded.
Yeah, I've got the ones that same. Just all my band tees are folded. Yeah.
It's not like a big ass like leather jacket or some big puffer jacket or something that really should, if it's old, get it out if it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the vintage. Speaking of vintage, the vintage workwear trend as well. And just to paint a picture here, what I think we're talking about here is everything from Carhartt to like the Carhartt jacket that you probably have seen so many times on Instagram, to Dickies pants, the 874 and the 873, the kind of very straight leg, very poly blended, structured pant, double knees, obviously from that we know and love at this point. Just the whole workwear thing. How do you feel about where this trend is? How much left does it have? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could wear more of it.
That's
the thing that I wish.
Why do you feel like you cannot wear it?
I just the extremely loose fitting stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't feel very good in it.
I mean, for us though, for the short kings out there, like the good thing about like the jackets is a lot of it feels very cropped.
Yeah, that I'm into.
Which we can, which
but
works
like,
for us.
The Dickies, I wish I could pull off. Because
yeah.
You can buy tons of them.
Yeah.
They've got double knees, some of them, and I love the way that they look on certain guys. Like
you're talking about the double knees right now?
Sure.
Or anything
like that. Yeah. But like the parchment color, and you see these dudes at Stag wearing it, or it just looks great. And I put it on, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, you should look at I have a pair of the Dickies 874, which has no hammer loop or double knees or anything like that. It's just a work pant.
Yeah.
And they're pretty wide, but they make an 873, which is like the slim version of that, that are still like not slim, but they're not so wide. And they're the same $25 or $30 price. That's what you should look at.
Okay.
I feel different ways about different pieces of this trend. Look, there's no question that it is quite literally a trend and will not last for the next decade, maybe not even the next 5 years. The Carhartt jacket, the one that you've seen on Instagram a million times. I feel like that specific piece got burned to the ground even faster than the double knees did.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at least with double knees, a bunch of brands are doing them. So of course, yes, you have your vintage Carhartts, but there are a lot of colors of vintage Carhartts, and there's and there are a lot of other brands making them, and they can all look different based on like how slim or how baggy they are, how long or how cropped they are, and like how vintage or not vintage they are. Do they have the paint? Do they have the are they kind of fresh and new? The Carhartt jacket is the Carhartt jacket.
Yeah.
Like every time I see it, it doesn't look different to me. And so I think that item specifically maybe got played a little bit quicker than some of these other trends, like Dickies or the double knee pants or other Carhartt pieces, whether it's waders or like the coveralls or anything else that might be out there. A Carhartt whip, they're kind of more fashion forward line. And it's not to say that I don't like that Carhartt jacket. Like I think you would pull one off super well. It's just if you're thinking about the longevity, I think that one got more burn over the last 18 months and probably got closer to the end of its life cycle than some of the other stuff did. And like I said, double knees are everywhere too. So why do they not burn as hot or as quick? There's just more you can do with them. A lot more color options. I feel like people are doing these in prints. You can either have the hammer loop and the double knees or just the hammer loop. So there's like a painter pant that's kind of like adjacent to this. I've seen brands play with the rivet colors, to like have some kind of gold pops on there. And I just made a list of like brands that I know that have done double knees. And this is this was off the top of my head, but Phipps, IMA, Carhartt Whip, Gap, Abercrombie, Supreme, Stussy, like you can find these everywhere at this point. So there's just a lot more to choose from. Now, that makes them more ubiquitous and more saturated, but I think the fact that you can differentiate it and find all these kind of different variations extends it a little bit because you don't see the exact same thing over and over and over and over again. So I think that the longevity of double knees still has more legs, pun intended, than the Carhartt jacket does. And then some of the other stuff, like I mentioned, I think Dickies are absolutely still going because they're the right fit for for the current time. I still want an Al's Big Deal J suit, even though the lack of you wearing yours has not been inspiring. You know, you really
don't know how often I wear that.
You just is that when you go home to meet the painters, you just run in the bedroom and throw that thing on to put out the workwear vibe, so that they know that you're just a blue collar guy yourself.
I just got home from the tire shop.
Now I'm just picturing you like Bruno wearing his military outfit though. Mm-hmm. Like you got on your jumpsuit, but like you got on your Montfray hat. And your geese as well.
Yeah. Well, the J suit is still, I feel comfortable wearing it in many settings.
Yeah.
But it requires some thought.
Yeah.
Before you step out.
Yeah. There is, it's, despite the Los Angeles-ification of Austin, it still remains a spot where you really got to pick your places to get a kid off.
Yeah.
To me, especially as for you and I, as we get older, like those times are fewer and farther between. Mm-hmm. And it's like I'm not going to flex at Matt's El Rancho.
Right.
Like first and foremost, anything that I wear in there is coming out smelling like fajitas.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Second,
it's probably a sweaty experience. Third, I got queso and salsa flying every which way. Like this is it's there. So I feel like there are a
more buttoned up crowd.
There are a lot of scenes like that.
Yeah.
Or how about a brewery in August? You gonna wear something fancy to that? Sit outside for a couple hours? No, exactly. So it's just like you really gotta find your opportunities and then you gotta execute.
Yeah.
Properly for some of these kind of these weirder things. Anyway, man, I had some bonus stuff again here, but we filled the time. We did the damn thing.
We did it.
So.
Did it, Randy.
Appreciate everybody listening. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. Keep us updated on those tailgate kits. Drop them in the Discord. Again, join us. Patreon.com/ClubCoolPod. No matter which tier you choose, you'll get access to that Discord, and we can talk about it. And then support our great sponsors. Check out Feels CBD. Truly some of the best CBD. Well, like I said, I have not needed to try anything else because Feels CBD has always gotten the job done for me. So check out our sponsors. Join us on Patreon. Follow us on Instagram @ClubCoolPod. Thank you, everybody listening. Thank you to producer Randy. Thank you for Phil being here. That wraps it up for us today. Hopefully my knees stay intact.
Woo!
At my indoor footy game tomorrow.
You gonna wrap up? You gonna wrap the ankles or?
No, I've never needed. No. Very strong ankles.
Oh man, he's on tape saying that too.
So hopefully I'm not in here on crutches next week. Yeah. But regardless, we'll be back. I'll be here, ACL intact or not.
All right. I hope y'all win.
All righty. Bye-bye.